Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those that don't know me, that are new to this video, I want to introduce myself. I am a professional life coach. I have been doing this work for the last 5 years, and during the last 5 years I have worked primarily with men. For the last 3-4 years, I would say, the majority of the people that I work with are men. The reason that I wanted to share this before I start talking about loneliness, which as you can tell by the title is the topic that I'll be speaking about in this video today, is because of what I've seen in my work, the things that are really helping the men that I'm working with at the moment to overcome this loneliness, where they don't feel as lonely as what they used to and they're not being gripped by it. Don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share below in the comments what one key insight is that you have from watching this video. Of course, don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to be sharing a lot more content. When it comes to loneliness, loneliness is a feeling. We know that we feel loneliness because we feel it. We don't think our way to loneliness. It's something that we feel in our bodies. We feel lonely. Just because they feel lonely at times, it's perfectly normal. What if that feeling of loneliness can be okay at times, and that we all feel lonely from time to time? I know for myself, I have certainly felt lonely, even by myself and also with another person in a relationship or in a group of people that I'm with. I felt lonely. So that tells us that you feeling lonely is not a reason for you to go out and search for a woman or to just jump into dating apps. There is something a lot deeper for you to see here. See me looking down whilst I'm creating this video, then please know that I just made some notes and I want to make sure that I've covered all bases and that there's nothing that I'm leaving out. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is how I've seen over the years that many men find it very difficult, in particular admitting this to a woman, me being a woman, because they have this, which is understandable by the way, which is very innocent, this idea that they need to be stoic, they need to be strong, and that they can't admit that they feel lonely. They can't admit to themselves that they feel lonely sometimes. What typically happens, as you may have seen in some of my other videos, or if you follow me on other social media platforms, this is something that I speak about a lot, is that when we're in a certain feeling, when we're in that feeling, we create an action based on that feeling. So what can happen when you're feeling lonely? You dive into dating apps. You're not conscious, you're not aware of what you're doing or who you're being on these apps. You dive into using substances. Perhaps you're using OnlyFans, perhaps you're using porn. You're using all of these things just to numb yourself, just to make yourself feel better. So that might be where you're at in your life. There's this idea that just because a man seemingly has it all together, for example, he has a good job, let's say he works in finance, business, something of that nature, those kind of industries, means that he can't feel loneliness. And let me tell you guys, that is not true. Over the years of doing this, I've actually been surprised to learn that the men who are in business, and it seems the busier that they are, the lonelier that they are, because he's running around like a headless chicken, doing all of the things. He's working all day, he's working long hours, and he's not taking the time to really slow down and actually enjoy his life and be present and be with loved ones. Why? Because he feels lonely, whether he's with loved ones or whether he's isolating himself. Again, there could be two different ways in which you're showing up if you're feeling lonely in your life. Are you isolating yourself because of the feelings that you have about yourself, which is created by the thinking that you have about yourself, which is also something that I've spoken about in other videos? Or is it that you're feeling lonely and you're surrounded by people all of the time? Let's say you're going on dates, let's say you have a really fulfilling, busy social life, but it's because of the lack of connection that you have within yourself. Regardless of who you're around, whether you have women around you, whether you have this busy social life, if you don't feel complete and good within yourself, then you're going to feel lonely. Among feeling lonely, it's more likely that you also experience these other low-level feelings, such as anxiety, fear. I want you to next reflect on this question. What's the one thing that you're afraid to admit about feeling lonely? If you answer this question and you put your ego to the side, you really slow down and you reflect on what's the one thing that you're afraid to admit about feeling lonely, that is really what's going to help you to uncover this feeling of loneliness. Because let me remind you guys that we live in an information-filled world. There are so many different options when it comes to loneliness. As I said earlier, it could be that you are feeling lonely because you're truly isolating yourself. You're not connecting with people, you're not socializing, you're not going to social events, you're not seeing your friends, you're not seeing your family, you're not making the effort to connect with other human beings. Or it could be that you're around a lot of people, but you just don't feel connected to yourself. It depends on what place you're coming from. You could be coming from this place where you're not doing enough in your life, you're not being around enough human beings. Or as I said, it's because you don't feel that connection with all of these people. If you don't feel like you're connecting with people, like you have all of these people around you, you have a really busy social life, but you don't feel the connection and you still feel lonely, it's because you haven't really seen yourself. I'm going to give myself as an example. Yes, I can feel lonely at times, but you know the reason that loneliness is not a thing for me. It's not something that is a big issue for me in my life. It's not something that really affects me. Yes, it's because I'm working on other things, I'm busy, that's one part of it. Another part of it is that I slow down a lot with Jess and with myself. So when I'm with myself, I don't ever feel lonely. That's the biggest thing that's really going to help you, is really finding out, can I be with myself? Can I allow myself to slow down and be in this room and have no distractions and really allow everything that I'm afraid to feel to come to the surface? Do I like being with myself? As I shared from my own example, the reason that I don't have this crippling, crumbling relationship with loneliness, and it can be a very normal feeling that I experience from time to time, but it's not impactful in my life, is because of the relationship that I have with myself. I like myself. And when I'm slowed down and when I'm just with myself, when I'm not with clients or friends or family, then I can really enjoy the time that I spend with myself, and I never feel lonely because I'm with myself. So this is the other part of the male loneliness epidemic that is being talked about a lot. I personally see that this is one of the things that is holding you back from releasing this loneliness, is because you don't like being with yourself. The reason that you don't like being with yourself is because of all of the thinking that you're holding on to that can never be true of who you really are. You're not seeing your power, you're not seeing your wisdom, you're not seeing your courage, you're not seeing your kindness, you're not seeing how loving you can be. The capacity for you to be deeply loving with yourself is the capacity to which you can give love to other human beings. That's a fundamental that we can never escape. The thing that I want you to think about in this video is 3 pillars. So the first pillar is peace. Peace is no longer overthinking. Peace is something that you are. It's something that we as human beings have access to always. And the thing that's holding you back from feeling at peace is, as I just said, is all of the thinking that you have about yourself. The noise, the overthinking, the analysis, the misunderstandings of who you really are in this world. And the more you step into your power and you see more of who you really are, that's when you can naturally feel this feeling of peace. I say this because on TikTok lives and things, guys will often say to me, well, I want to create a certain amount of money. The question that you want to be asking yourself, because that's amazing that you want to create a certain amount of money. Money is amazing, money is powerful, but you want to be asking yourself, why is that important to me? Why is it important for you to make a certain amount of money? Men will often say to me, is if I make a certain amount of money, then I can have the woman. Or then I can feel at peace, then I can feel happier. And actually it's the other way around. You can feel at peace and feel happy right now in this moment. You can then find out what really matters to you. The second pillar that I would like to speak to you guys about today is purpose. Find out what really matters to you and why, and connect to that and pursue that. The third pillar that I would like to speak to you guys today about is presence. Being in the now of your life, really being in the present moment, Anytime that your thinking is caught up in the past or the future, that's where you're disempowering yourself. You're not coming from your power. Why? Because the past and the future do not exist. The more that you can really enjoy your life now and really be present and see, truly see, that you can only create your life from the now, that's what's going to allow you to feel less lonely as a man. Because a lot of the times when you're feeling lonely, it's because of all of the thinking of a past situation that you haven't let go of. You're in the past. Or alternatively, you're feeling lonely because you're thinking about the future. Where is she? Where is this relationship? Because then when I have this relationship, then I won't feel so lonely. And as you, I hope, have seen from this video today, from everything that I've shared, that's not a helpful way for you to live your life. That's not a helpful place for you to come from in your life. To believe that once you have the woman, once you have the relationship, then you won't feel so lonely. The other thing that I want to share with you guys today, I really want to put an emphasis on the fact that you are a successful, driven man and you're running around like a headless chicken, trying to avoid this feeling of loneliness that you don't want to feel. My suggestion is for you to stop doing that and have the courage to slow down and be with those uncomfortable feelings. Allow yourself to be with that feeling of loneliness and get curious about it. As you looking into more of who you really are, releasing the limiting, fearful, scarcity-based thinking that you have about yourself, really grounding yourself in the conviction of knowing who you are and knowing your power, coming and accessing and connecting to your purpose, as well as you being in the really present moment, the now of your life, is really going to help you to feel less lonely in your life. I hope this has been helpful for you. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And as I shared at the start of this video, I would love to hear at least one insight that you get from watching this video. If you're curious about what the next steps are in becoming less lonely in your life and feeling more fulfilled, feeling happier, feeling generally more at peace in your life, send me a message, because this really starts with you committing to yourself and committing to this process of transformation.